First tonight, probation officers are warning that people could die because cost-cutting means criminals aren't being monitored properly. Their union's been responding to a critical report on the private probation service here in the East Midlands.
Well, inspectors say they're worried about the risk to both children and victims of domestic violence. Well, our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball is here. Jeremy, why are these inspectors so worried?
Well, Dominic, because this is all about criminals who aren't in jail, who've either been released or given community sentences. The Community Rehabilitation Company supervises offenders who are medium or low risk. It covers Derbyshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and Rutland. And today the inspectors said it requires improvement. They're especially worried about domestic abuse. Their report says home visits were far too infrequent and that poor quality assessments are putting partners and children at risk. The Probation Officers Union thinks that's the result of underfunding.
People will die and or be seriously injured. And the fact remains that we must have high quality face-to-face supervision, and most of all we need the facilities to see these people regularly on a face-to-face basis. Otherwise they could slip off the radar.
There was some praise in today's report for things like the supervision of unpaid community work, but the inspectors want more probation staff, better training too, and much more detailed assessments about the risks criminals pose.
The risks are plain to see. If an individual has a propensity to violence and that is not addressed firmly enough, then there's a risk that they will actually assault somebody. It's very obvious to people the value of this work and the need for this work as well.
This is what they're so worried about. The street in Nottingham where Janet Scott was run over by her former boyfriend last year. Her killer, Simon Mellors, was already a convicted murderer. He was being monitored by a different organisation, the National Probation Service, and Janet's serious case review said there were unacceptable failings.
This is an area where people often gravitate through domestic violence into more serious offences, and we've seen that with a spike in serious further offences across England and Wales in the last couple of years, which have resulted often in murder. So there's no room for error.
Now, the company at the centre of today's report says it's going to use the findings to make improvements and to cut reoffending rates right across the East Midlands.
OK, Jeremy, thanks very much.